Time for the Tesla and the Palantir weekly and monthly updates, since today is both the weekly and the monthly candle close. What we're going to take a look at is what we have been looking at for the whole week, and that is from this low back in January. It's called a trend-based fib extension, and it's from the low to this high down to this low, and it gets all the extension levels up here. And what we can see is that price is just in a range, right? It's only in a range for the past month, maybe a little bit longer than a month. It's just been in between the 390 and the 418.04. And when we put on the weekly conversion line here, what do we see with that for the Ichimoku cloud? We can see that it actually, the 418.37 is also the resistance up there. So there is a confluence of resistance up there. So when price went up there, it was just a normal reaction to get rejected. So now what we can see is it's just in a range, right? And when we go to the daily chart here to break it down a little bit further, do we see anything developing? And no, it's just stuck, right? It's stuck underneath the conversion line, the baseline, and inside the cloud. So it's just looking for direction, and whether that needs to come back down to retest to the 390s or below, or even drift a little bit lower, that's still undecided. But until there's daily and weekly candles that start to close below 390, I won't be that cautious yet. But if that does start happening and it kind of flips to a resistance, this 390, then I think it's going to go down to the 360s or below. Right, but until then, I think it's just range bound, looking for direction, and I think it has potential to hold this and eventually go higher. So not really too much to add to this for the daily and the weekly chart. So now let's just take a look at the monthly candle here just to see what happened with this monthly candle close. And when we zoom out here, we can take a look that still the monthly conversion line is way down here at 327 and the baseline's down there at 295. So we don't even need the Ichimoku on that. But what we can do is put on the Bollinger Band here and see what is actually happening with the Bollinger Band. And with that is, when we zoom out, all that's been happening, it has been riding the top Bollinger Band as a support. And that support is right there at 378.79, which kind of coincides with that 380 area, which price already got back down to. So this will be moving up next month, maybe even towards the 390 level. So we'll see where this Bollinger Band moves up to. And with that said, I think it really has price, or has a chance for price to hold that 390 support zone, whether or not this upper Bollinger Band does get around 390 or so. So I'm not too concerned right now, and until things get underneath the Bollinger Band like we saw over here in the December of 2021, I'm not going to be too concerned about any kind of major pullback, just simply because all price is doing is just maintaining that as support. So this is my focus, the 390 zone, this top of the Bollinger Band. We're going to see where that lies when the monthly candle opens on Monday. And if it opens up above it and still holds it as support, then I think there is a great chance for Tesla to become more and more bullish to go higher. So in the meantime, it's just in a range. Earnings are out of the way, and we're going to see which direction Tesla wants to go. And next is Palantir, and with Palantir we can see that the 1.272 was overcame again as a resistance and flipped back to a support. So now 2 weeks in a row it closed above that 78.13, and that's really the only thing that I'm focusing on with Palantir. Just stay above the 78.13, and this can be more and more bullish and go to the hundreds and above. And it did have a perfect backtest 2 weeks in a row of that conversion line there at 74.31. So that was a great support during the week and last week as well. And now we can see if price really wants to continue higher. And if we go to switch to the monthly chart here, we can see clearly that it's been huge, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 monthly candles in a row that are green. So could this mean that it's exhausting at all? Well, we can put on the monthly Bollinger Band as well, just to see what is really going on here for Palantir. And it also had a perfect backtest of that monthly Bollinger Band right there, which was the upper band was at, what is it, 70.83, right? You can see that right here, the 7.83. And it wicked down below it, held it as support, and it's still riding it as support. So same thing like Tesla, as long as the upper band still holds as support, then the momentum is still in the bull's favor, and it still has potential to go higher to the 104 and possibly beyond. So with that said, let's take a look at the log scale weekly chart, and we'll see if there's any developments with this log scale weekly chart here. And with this, we can see that it's back above the blue level of the GAN. It had a perfect back test of the ARC, and now it's making its way towards the top of the band here, which is around $87 or $88. So I think that could be the next resistance target for Palantir before really trying to break out towards the 100s. So as we can see, it actually might just still be in a tight range from there. Even back down, a back test down to the 77s can exist still, right? So it just might be in a tight range between the 85, 86, 87, $88 range until it's really ready to break out and flip that arc to a support. And once price is on the top side of that arc, then it'll have the potential to go much higher. But until then, I suspect Palantir will just be in this tight range until it proves it wants to break out and go higher.